Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 4 white cement and why that is. This one is going to be a good one, to say the least. Buckle up. The Jordan 4 white cement releases tomorrow, May 24th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Nike sneakers and other retailers. We also saw exclusive access for these, and we'll discuss how that's currently impacting the pre-drop prices and why it matters. There was no shock drop, like I said, none was planned, unfortunately, even though I would have expected one. Instead, we saw shock drops for the Jordan 3 Sole and the What the Kobe 8, all of which we posted early info for inside of Endurance. Remember, join with the link in the description below because we actually have some better ones coming relatively soon. Also, I'd highly encourage you guys to start reselling Pokemon. I've been making some community posts about this because I want to see you guys make more money and expand beyond just sneaker reselling, because right now there's so much money to be made here. People are making thousands of dollars per week. There's cookouts almost every day, it feels like. So again, consider joining with the link in the description below, not just for sneakers. Anyway, the retail on the Jordan 4 white cement is $225. In order to determine if the Jordan 4 white cement will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially the pair is going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time. And finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding? Not the retail to resale initial margin, but rather the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, even if they go up, are they going to be worth your time or not? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. Total stock for Nike US alone is about 90,000 pairs. 14,000 pairs already dropped via exclusive access last week, and only 64,000 pairs will be dropping tomorrow. I suppose some of the stock is being saved for some future event, perhaps a Sneakers Reserve shock drop. At least that's my assumption based on the changes and patterns we've seen with Nike stock endpoints over time. So again, it looks like 64,000 pairs will be dropping on Nike US alone tomorrow. For comparison, the Nigel Brick by Brick pair had 30,000 pairs drop on Nike sneakers, and the SB Jordan 4 Navy had about 60,000 total pairs released there. Considering this is a massive general release, classic, iconic colorway that almost everyone loves, the stock honestly isn't that much higher. We've seen general releases with way more stock than this in the past despite having lower demand. It's clear Nike is sticking to their strategy of slashing stock to maintain long-term demand, even on highly desirable classic colorways like this. Now, that doesn't mean these are going to be very limited like a collab is. They're definitely going to be easier to get than those, but it's pretty low stock for such a big shoe. Not to mention, 14,000 pairs are already in circulation. We'll talk about why that matters soon. Demand is obviously extremely high. This is an iconic classic colorway that almost all collectors agree is wearable and a must-have in their collection. I remember I really wanted these in 2016, but I couldn't afford them, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same boat and could relate. Leave a comment below if that's you. Despite the pre-sale being high, close to 300 before the drop, the sale volume is absolutely insane on these. There is tons of activity just in 1 hour alone. But with the current prices you see now, you could only make a couple dollars profit on large sizes if you have tax in your state, and only about lunch money with the poor margin if you have no tax in your state. We'll talk about what will happen after the release in a second though. Currently, sizes 8 to 12 in men's are an average of $277. Now, after they drop, we normally see a positive impulsivity effect where prices tend to jump 5 to 10% on many sneakers from everyone who missed out. This sneaker is a big deal, and I could see people underestimating its value pre-drop, leading to at least a 5% positive impulsivity effect, especially because there's already a large portion of the Nike stock in circulation from the exclusive access drop. 14,000 pairs is a lot when only 64,000 pairs are dropping tomorrow, not to mention all pairs like Flex app reservation pairs and general early pairs already technically being in circulation too, because you could list those. Hence, I think we should see at least a 5% jump and perhaps even more than that. This could hypothetically leave the post-drop average at about $291. Larger sizes should be over $300 and smaller sizes in the $270 range. Now, let's discuss what price will look like once shipments go out in the 2 to 3 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs usually would all be going in circulation. Normally, we see a 10% decrease in value on general releases, but I actually think with only 64,000 pairs from Nike going out, I'd expect much lower of a decrease for a classic colorway like this with so much demand. I'd say somewhere between no drop and 5% is more likely. Let's call it 3% for calculation. If this is the case, hypothetically, prices should settle around $282 on average even after all the shipments go out. This should allow for just a couple dollars profit in large sizes if you have tax in your state, nothing notable, and some easy small profit to lunch money if you have no tax or if you're selling off platforms, or even better if both. Guys, this should be one of the easiest shoes ever to sell locally. Talk to people locally and on Facebook. These are easy money if you could avoid the platform fees. Tons of people want these and will pay more than what you paid, I promise you. Just because you can't really make money on platforms doesn't mean this is not a money release, guys. You could easily make money on these if you know what you're doing as a reseller. Now that the average price ranges at those points in time are evident, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from the post-shipment prices or even continue to decrease. A lot of general release Jordan 4s have not been appreciating lately, but some of the ones that have in the past were actually a lot more similar to the white cement in both stock and also being universal with their colorways that are easy to wear, black, white, and gray. Regardless of the military black or Oreo 4s appreciating, for example, they simply have had much higher values than what the white cements have currently, even before they ended up increasing. So when it comes to these cements, I could only see these increasing from their current undervalued price. Not to mention the other high demand Jordan 4s with low stock we talked about before already have been increasing. The Nigels quite a lot, making them a worthy, I think I gave them a 6.5 out of 10 well above average hold, and now they've increased more than $100 already, which is a pretty good amount even though they were already high value, making the ROI a little lower, and that's why they're a 6.5 out of 10 hold. While many recent Jordan 4s have not appreciated, I think these will. These are far too low in value for demand and stock that they have. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, basically, are these going to be worth your time even if they do go up? If these do even get close to the value of the military blacks or white Oreos, which I think is easily possible for these eventually, we should see some pretty good ROIs for these. Hypothetically, if they get to $350, that's about a 24% ROI, which is already above average. And optimistically, if they hit $400, that's a 40% ROI, really amazing. Even if we don't see either of those, it's almost a guarantee that a sneaker like this will appreciate to a degree. And with that, that reliability adds to the rating I tend to give. Not only do these have good upside, but they have very low risk too. This classic, iconic sneaker is a big deal. It's universal, easy to wear, and the stock is surprisingly low for such a big general release. This is one of the best potential holds we've seen in a while. Overall, I'd rate these well above average at 8 out of 10, one of the best ratings I've given it in a long time. It is possible we see these restock in a Jordan Reserve shock drop in the future though, and that will delay their potential appreciation, but 10,000 hypothetical pairs restocking shouldn't have notable long-term ramifications, so I would not stress about that, and I'm not factoring that into the rating. If you're watching before the drop, good luck, and remember, for any upcoming shock drops, we will post early info inside of Endurance. And again, start reselling Pokemon, guys. Stop missing out on this big wave that's happening right now. You can make thousands of dollars really easily with this stuff. So again, join Endurance with the link in the description below. I want to see guys make money even outside of sneakers too. Other than that, have a great rest of your day and good luck on this drop.